So I'd like to call the meeting of the Simon Fairfield Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order on Tuesday, May 27th at 6:30 p.m. We have a quorum, and the first thing on our list on our agenda is reorganization. So we have uh, these various positions open. Uh, I'll open the floor to nominations or suggestions.
And we should probably say who's in those positions now, right?
That's a good idea.
Who's writing? Justin?
That's me. Yeah.
Not me. I'm just going along for the ride.
That's the AI assistant.
Oh, oh no.
My intelligence isn't artificial yet.
I think that am I? Yeah. Right.
Yep. So that's the current slate. It
Okay.
Right.
would be ideal to not have Danielle occupying two positions.
I
Yeah.
agree. Totally agree.
Would you be interested in that, Lori?
The
Jump in
alternate,
and
the alternate.
All it
oh,
means, all it means is that normally Dawn goes into the library once a week
Every other
Once
and
week.
every two
signs
weeks.
every 2 weeks and signs off on the warrants to go in uh, to the town so that basically people get paid and the bills get paid and that kind of thing. The backup person is the alternate signatory, is someone who would be available if for some reason Dawn couldn't do it.
Okay.
So basically, Thursday mornings between 9 and 10, if Dawn isn't around, I might call and ask you if I can run a bunch of papers to you to sign.
I'm well, I currently drive for the senior center on Thursdays.
Hmm.
Um, but could meet you at the senior center.
I think
Yeah, I'd be happy to take him to the senior center if that's where you are. That'd actually be
Yeah,
easier to taking him to Dawn's house.
okay. All right, because I'm usually there by noontime. Um, so yeah, if you can contact me if the time comes that you need to, you can probably catch me at the senior center.
Okie doke. Do y'all want me to fill these in and then vote on all of them at once or do them one at a time?
all at once.
Okay.
Or are there any other nominations like for these positions?
Hey, that's my mouse, kiddo.
Yeah. I'm fine with how they are now for my vote. Or my
Everybody happy in their current positions?
yeah,
I
I'm
am.
okay. If you're okay.
I'm okay.
Please, if y'all can't get along, I'm gonna need you to go outside.
Okay, so at this point I'll entertain a motion to accept um the nominations as listed.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay. Um, discussion, additions. Open it up.
Anybody want to challenge us?
Not really.
We'll move the question.
Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the reorganization as listed, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Hearing none, it's moved unanimously. Approved unanimously. All right. So moving on to minutes from April 22nd. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to read them. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Now I'll open it up to discussion or questions or corrections on the minutes. Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from April 22nd, say aye.
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 Sustain.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
All right, minutes are approved unanimously. Moving on to the financial report.
There's not a lot of change since last meeting. We're just continuing to tick down to the end of the fiscal year. We're 89.84% through the year, and we've only spent 86% of the budget. So that's a good place to be. We will be finishing out this repairs and maintenance budget with items mentioned later. But yeah, I do not expect any end of year surprises. The last RWE bill from electricity seems to be, within our bounds of being able to afford. So the municipal budget seems to be smooth sailing until June 30th.
Right.
There's
We just have a question on if you could just under office and other supplies, the what the cost for that was. Where-
that has gone over a lot this year because of craft supplies for Marco.
Okay,
And we got the cricket machine, and it's basically having more people on staff meant more people asking for things,
absolutely. That's not a problem at all. That's a
which is
good
why
thing.
next year I've moved that line item up quite a bit.
Uh-huh. No, that's all I asked was like looking for an explanation. That's a good thing.
Could you put it in the other services and as programs? If it's the
Well, a lot
they're
of
sort
it
of
is like,
programs that you're doing that Marco's doing, and but it's not. I don't know how to state it. It's not, an official program like a story hour or something like that, or a lecture
But
to come in. But it
it is a
is,
way to get people to come in.
mhm.
yeah, it
People,
is. You could, you have. I know you mentioned somewhere that, or I guess it was when I was doing the minutes that you had said that there is money left in the programs amount that you could borrow from and stuff to help offset the overages that you do have. But anyway, that's nothing here. I mean, that's okay. What you've done is fine, I think.
yes, I
I'm just wondering. I
agree.
thought I had a program line item on here, and I'm not seeing it.
I'm not saying,
It is, it's
Justin, all I'm
Wildberry.
saying,
Oh, it's been consolidated with that. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we do have this we're not going to be spending because we haven't paid for any performers, which is what this line item has to be. To answer your question, a lot of these supplies and things that are specific to programs, I could class differently, but then Gene would reclass them as supplies and kick them right back to me because it ends up going by the municipal tables on how they classify expenses.
right, there's codes. Justin, I have a question. Am I the only one who's just seeing the
Inbox.
The
talking
Just
windows
no.
flashing
inbox?
around
Mobile
is
or something. I think you need to switch over to the other tab, maybe.
Well, no, mine is the same thing. It's the Gmail, Justin's
Gmail.
Gmail.
All I'm seeing
Yeah.
is your Gmail.
oh, I don't want you seeing my Gmail. I want you to see
I
the
don't,
director's
it's
report.
nothing there. It says you have 24 pieces of mail. There we are. That's better. Now
That's
I see everybody else except
Well,
me.
I just see yeah, but I don't see
okay. Is the
his
report back
report.
now?
Yeah,
There we
yes.
are.
Hooray!
Yay!
But yeah, we also have wiggle room in library materials because since we spent the $2,500 from grants or from the R.S. Douglas to buy Wonder Books, that counts as a library material. So if we do
Oh,
have to spend $2,500 less from this, then we would be good. But I don't even anticipate having to do that.
no, if you're looking at the bottom line and it's 86% spent, this would be at the end of April, right? Or as of yesterday,
as of
May
as
24th.
of
Saturday.
Saturday. But I mean, I
Uh,
haven't spent any
But
money
so
since
I'm
Saturday
saying
because I've
another
been home
month
sick.
out. Yeah, it's just about right. It's just about right. You know, one
Hmm.
twelfth of the way to the end of the year. Yeah.
Any other question about municipal budget before I go to cap the private accounts?
No.
Alrighty. I'll walk through these real quick for Lori's benefit if everyone is okay with that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
okay, so the original building donation account is an account currently has $12,256.15, which is reserved for construction when we reach a point where we can renovate the library. Same with building donations with interest. The building donations interest account was created thanks to a crusade that Ellie went on so that we could actually start earning interest on our investments. And then the town was able to retroactively apply that to the the original account. No, it does. It does. So now we get interest on these three accounts, which are all reserved for library renovation. So, like to the public, we just call this, the library building fund, but in reality, it's three different accounts with other money reserved. Hey, darling, could you check on the kiddos? Library grants is we get roughly $10,000 to $15,000 from the state every year in two payments, and it is unrestricted, so we can spend it on whatever we want, and it can carry over from year to year. This year we spent 12,556 of it on various and sundry projects, which just don't fall easily into the municipal finance pipeline, and 22,000 of it is reserved for the capital campaign, which leaves us unrestricted $30,097. Regular donations is exactly what it sounds like. It's just people who give us money. Most of that is reserved for the capital campaign. There are a few other items, like a gentleman donated money specifically for the archives one time, so we're kind of tracking that as we spend it down. And $300 was donated in memory of Rachel May, and they would like us to spend it on story walks. So we'll track that as we kind of spend it down. But then once you take all of the money we have minus the restrictions, that account only has $643. Revolving account is book fines. These are fees we collect for lost or replacement items, or other libraries that still do charge fines, like it's the Stone Age. We are obligated to collect them by consortial policy, and we get to keep it. So we just take in a little bit every year, and we can spend it on replacement books because that's a restriction placed by the town. R.S. Douglas Children's Book Fund is $10,000 that was donated that we can never spend, but we can spend all the interest earned on it on children's books. William and Janet Carrick Fund comes from the Greater Worcester Community Foundation. We get around this much every year, depending on how their finances are doing. But it's part of a huge trust that was donated by the Carrick family, and we're one of the many beneficiaries of it. So every year they just send out, checks to a lot of different organizations. So whenever you put it all together, the trustees of the library, apart from all, the municipal budget, have about $270,000 in capital funds, $32,000 in unrestricted funds, almost $1,000 in archival funds, and these few kind of lingering other things which we're planning on spending down, and then the unspendable trust of 10,000. Was that
What
clear as mud?
happens if in the $10,000 one, what's the R.S. Douglas? Is that they don't provide us anymore, or can you give a little history behind the R.S. Douglas? What is it? Why did we get this money initially?
I could perhaps answer that at the next trustee meeting.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I'm not sure.
I
That would be
think
good.
it's,
And
yeah, I have to say, I think this is a real lot for Lori to digest right now. So let's just get her through the first meeting before she runs for the door
I know it's been
or
there for a
blocks us,
very
blocks
long time.
Justin from her email list. All right, so, all right, are we good to move on? Look at the,
where and why? Uh, so put in where and why for that R.S. Douglas money. Where and why did the R.S. Douglas money come from?
I know I have read it in like the really, really, really old spiral bound minute books from like the 80s, but I
Thanks, Rebecca.
don't remember it. That knowledge went away with my concussion.
It's probably a good thing.
I think he was a doctor, but I might be making that up. I'm going to shut up till next meeting.
Okay.
We could all make up what we think it is and then compare it.
I think that's a good creative writing experience for
Yeah.
next meeting. Write a short story about why this happened. All right. Okay. Looking at the director's report and circulation from April. So
it's good. Just to explain this to Lori, this is a comparison of so the 2024 our collection to everyone is what anybody borrowed from our collection, no matter where. So if we sent it to Agawam, it's recorded here. And then so you can see the rise from 2024 to 2025. And then borrowed by our patrons is what was borrowed specifically by Douglas taxpayers, basically, so that we can run sort of cost benefit analyses to make sure that we are, paying for ourselves, which we always are, at least tenfold. But local use is up. Consortial use is up. I mean, it's just kind of the common story every month now. Usage is increasing.
Is.
I mean, did anything go down? Music went down locally.
There was a couple of things I saw.
Games, nothing we carried went down.
No, I don't remember what it was. Well, it's a minuscule amount. It's not much.
Yeah, we don't have many audiobooks anymore, but digital audiobooks are continuing to, I mean, we circled almost 1,000.
Wow.
But
that's
yeah,
a
print
rising trend now.
Both up. Door traffic was kind of not what we would have expected this month. Wi-Fi sessions were down. Door count didn't increase by as much as I thought it would, given the hour increase. And I thought I would also start tacking some extra information down here. Oh crap, I forgot to fill that one in. 774 website
Douglas
visitors,
views. Nobody opened. I did.
That is false.
What do you mean the extended hours, Justin? I mean because that was extended a few months ago.
Yes.
Well, in 2024.
Oh, compared to last year. Okay.
We were open less. We increased our hours by 35%. So until these numbers go up by more than 35%, I don't get excited.
Okay. Got it.
We gave away a lot of stuff again. Brain bundles, 56, the 134 coloring things, 114 take-home crafts, 128 teas. Um, so that's the end of the circulation report. And in terms of other announcements, I have tried circulating Chromebooks for home use, and it's been out for like 2 months now, and we have circulated 0 computers. So Douglas is not interested in borrowing Chromebooks. If that doesn't go up by the end of the summer, I'll consider it a dead service and find something else to do with these machines. Marco is planning quarterly paint by number nights, and we've procured the supplies to run a whole year's worth to get ahead of potential tariff upcharges. But the first one will be in July, and it's going to be like a 2-night thing. So on Thursday night, they'll meet to start, and then on Saturday, people can come back to finish because, you can't usually finish paint by numbers in 2 hours, and no
Oh
one wants
my
to stay at a
God.
library program for more than 2 hours. So
That's a good idea.
Oh, that
um,
sounds exciting.
Yale's gardening club is taking off and gaining momentum. They're going to be having another Blackstone Valley Veggie Gardeners presentation in June.
Nice.
Um, this is no longer a thing.
Okay.
I'm just going to delete that. Um, and we're just engaging in a lot of collection shuffling right now because sometimes the stacks are like, dominoes. We ran out of room in early reader picture books, and we don't have any weeding candidates because everything is still moving. So we needed to move some to the basement, but we're out of space in the basement, so I need to move some stuff to the attic, which means putting in stickers and labels and everything and reprocessing. So we're moving stuff around between floors right now because now is not a time to weed. Um, we don't have a lot of viable weeding candidates anywhere in the collection, and even if I did, I probably would try to squirrel them away somewhere, given upcoming potential supply issues. Um,
Right.
we're just moving stock around.
Good for
And that's it
you.
for my director's report.
Oh my goodness. God bless you, Justin.
So for the
Hey, well,
Chromebooks, has that been advertised anywhere? I know it was in the newsletter.
It's been in the newsletter. It's been in the I think Rebecca put it in like one of the blurbs that we sent to the
Yeah.
papers, and
Okay.
like they're just signage inside too. I mean, I figure it's one of
Yeah.
those things that if patrons aren't already coming to the library, they're probably not going to start coming so they can borrow a Chromebook for 2 weeks.
Right.
I was thinking current patrons who come in to use our computers all the time would be interested in taking them home, but
Yeah.
especially since we offer the hotspots too, because you can take
Yeah.
everything home you need to have internet,
right,
um, and
right.
have it for a month without having to pay any bills and then take it back to the library.
If
I'm curious. I'm
Maybe
curious.
maybe over the summer for kids who are home.
yeah, it,
I'm just curious why. I'm just curious why it's not taking off. But
I think maybe it needs, okay, I'm a marketing person, like maybe it needs marketing, like what Justin just said, like just describe that to people, like short a
Mhm.
computer, don't want to come in every day, like grab a,
oh, Dawn, that sounds like a perfect segue to get you to write something on social media
yeah, I think,
using just those words. How
yeah,
you spin them.
yeah, I can do that. I'll just email it to you, Justin, to make sure I have it right and like how many you have and stuff. And what was I gonna say? Like how long can people take them out for? Is it like,
um, 3 weeks, and then they'll automatically renew for another 3.
yeah, okay, cool. That sounds good.
And like you had said, for like even going on vacation or something.
Yeah. I wonder, like, I haven't been that active on Dynamic Douglas, but I'm still a member when I post these kind of things. But well, I guess you guys are all doing that your own social media through Instagram and stuff, right? Because I was just thinking, like, I don't know, just the cool thing of the week,
Are
sort of a thing, like so that like this week we're talking about the Chromebooks, next week you're talking about the gardening club, or I don't know. I just want like more pictures and more showing of all the cool things that you're doing too.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But maybe you're already doing it and I just haven't seen them all.
Well,
The
the
Facebook
library.
algorithms have not been friendly to us
No.
lately, and it it really kind of smells fishy because, we've had things taken down from one group for reasons, but not from the other.
Yeah.
We've been reported in, like told, you can't tell people to subscribe to stuff in one group, but not the other. And then like the
Mm.
rules don't seem to be being applied consistently to content. And
Yeah,
it's a conversation that's happening among directors
it is.
of
Okay.
libraries enough that, we're all kind of thinking about and toying with the idea of just jumping ship together because
Yeah.
no one's getting out of social media what they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can just, well, sort of anecdotally, but sort of proof, like, with Fred's little dog business, like you can't just post anything anymore. You have to pay an ad to go
Mm-hmm.
with it. And then I also read an article that before most of your fee would be your friend. So the library could be your friend, and then you're getting like two-thirds of it would be your friends. Now it's down to 17% are your
Mm-hmm.
friends. It's way
And
off.
you can manually go into the friends feeds and look and I would challenge you to and see if anything is there.
Yeah.
Um, because my friends feed is empty, and it used to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
constant chatter, hundreds of posts a day. And, like Dynamic Douglas used to, we had the community leaders involved in it and the organizers and political
Hmm.
discussions happened there. I would stay up all night fighting with Kevin Morse. Um, but,
Oh God.
Those were the
I feel like
Well,
those
it's
days are
going on
over,
strong in Oxford, let me tell you that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
not in good ways.
Oh
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Really? Oh no.
No. Oh no.
But I mean, it's almost like Facebook, Instagram, the social media, procedures we go through to put stuff out is just something we do now, is kind of a legacy thing that we do, but I'm not sure why.
Mm,
Yeah.
Because it is not, and like, like the post program surveys and things, how did you find out about this event? It's never social media. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
You know what the
and
biggest
I
thing
hate it,
usually
but
is? Word of mouth.
word of mouth, or, they saw it in the email newsletter.
Yeah.
People like email newsletters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the groups are a little bit better than just having it in the feed, but I wonder if there's anything for nonprofits. I mean, it shouldn't be like this. It's a broken system. I don't know what to say.
Well, you got
It
constant
is.
contact is a thing. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, that's what we use for our newsletter.
Does it cost?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We use that for the Douglas Way and the Douglas Mill.
Yeah. I used to use that in my previous life when I worked. Yeah, it's pretty user friendly.
Have you used
But
MailChimp?
that's another thing. Now you're adding another thing to it. You know what I'm saying?
Bless you.
Bless you.
Well,
I would say just
some of us are too old to be uh, knowledgeable about any of this stuff, so which is me for one. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the jury's still out, but I mean, I'm afraid Facebook may have kind of reached its zenith and
Definitely.
kind of be on the sunset.
Right.
Yep.
okay. In the essence of time, I'd like to move on if we're
Sorry.
okay. Not a problem. To under old business, accessibility. I don't think not much has happened.
I did have a
It's
conversation with Matt, pointed out how much money we had, and he said if all we want to do is tack a Lula lift on the back and do nothing else, we probably have the resources to do that.
well, where do they go to the bathroom then?
Well,
right.
that's a problem for another
And
year.
how do they get around in the stacks? So those are important things. Where
Mhm.
is the handicap uh, parking?
Right.
All of
Yeah,
it.
I
Well, wait
think
a minute.
that's a
You have to do all those just basic things and to become
and
accessible.
I think yeah. Go ahead, Ellie. I'm sorry.
No, no, that's all right.
I just wanted to
Don't.
understand what a Lula lift was exactly. And does that
Yeah.
get them to the main
Mm.
floor?
It's just
It's a
a
limited use, limited access lift. It's not like a full size elevator. and it'll only go between two floors, but almost like a cargo elevator that you can just kind of
Exactly.
feel onto and go up and down. You see
Okay.
them tacked onto the back of churches a lot,
Mhm.
like between split levels,
I think I've seen
things
that.
like that.
Okay. And but it would get them between two floors, right? It would
To
get them
do
from
what?
Has has anybody been to Riverbend Farm in Uxbridge, run by the
Yep.
Yep.
Heritage Corridor? That barn has a second floor, which is a display,
hmm
and they have a small wheelchair lift that will bring them from one floor to the next. The possibility of talking to whomever is running that particular spot to see what was involved in installing that.
hmm
I, it
I'm
looks,
sorry, Lori?
yes,
Lori?
yes.
I can't hear you. Is it me?
Can you hear me now?
It's a little soft, but I can hear
Yeah, I
you.
can hear you. It's just soft.
Okay. Um, the idea that some um some areas or places have done these tricky kind of installations, whether budgetarily or through um, the fact that they have a historical structure to deal with.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if there's not somebody who has gone through it and can and at least talk to us about what they went through to do it, what was involved in it.
So it
Um,
sounds like you're talking about this Lula lift. Is that
It
it,
it
that
may
it goes
be,
between?
yep,
Yeah,
one floor and the other. It's a very simple lift.
yeah.
It's more like a lift than you'd call it an elevator.
I understand that, but I don't see there's we open up a can of worms.
Our
Okay.
problem is the 30% of the building's assessed value, because if we spend more than 30% of the building's assessed value on any project, we have to bring it up to 100% ADA compliance.
Oh,
And even installing a Lula lift on the back, our building's assessed value is only barely over $1 million.
okay.
And so 30% of that is the
Three
maximum we
hundred
could spend.
thousand. About 3,500.
Mm-hmm.
35, 350,000. Well, 333.
Mhm.
Something like that. If we break that threshold, it's all or nothing.
And what good is that to the clientele if we shovel them up basically a freight
Freight elevator. I mean,
and
that's what
then
it is.
say, here you go, you're on your own. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
have you had anybody move around in that library in a wheelchair?
No, you can't get a
No,
wheelchair in.
yeah.
So even if they manage to get in the building, now they're sitting in a wheelchair, there's still no way to move around inside there.
Precisely.
And no
Not into the
bathroom.
stacks.
And the bathroom is
Yeah,
halfway
not.
in the middle of a set of switchback stairs. So there's no way to get to that.
It's inaccessible to able-bodied people.
It's
Yeah, right.
true.
That's
Um,
I
where we're
yeah.
at.
it would help with
Yeah.
strollers, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How,
I'm still interested in getting a structural engineer to look at our needs, as opposed to an architect, or as opposed to the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners grants. And
That's something these guys are
I
poking
was
into.
what?
That's something
Or
that these guys are poking into, the CMRPC.
yeah.
Central
All
Mass.
right. Well, but I was talking to Les Stevens, a selectman, at the Planton book sale the other day, and we were, I was hammering him. We need. Uh, we're not trying to raise all the money to have the accessibility. We're just making an effort to raise money, and we have raised quite a bit. And I don't know of uh, uh, any other department in the town that has tried to do this. And so I had asked Carol Gugulinski, because she's an engineer, if she knew of a structural engineer, and she told me no, they're all my age and that I know. And then she said, well, what about Cuppy Dix? And so that's I did mention that to Les Stevens too, and he says, yeah, he might do it for free, and he does design stuff. And Carol had said that he does do it's approved by the building inspector and stuff like that, his drawing up of stuff, but just have the basic stuff, those four things: the toilet, the elevator, the
Egress and the
parking
parking.
spot. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, the getting around in a wheelchair stuff. So, but
And
that
more
would be
room.
it. Not any bells and whistles, and not trying to degrade the look of the building either. So if I don't know Cuppy personally, but I think that's a good possibility. Does
If
any of you know him?
if I'm not mistaken, that's who designed Rebecca's recent house addition.
Oh, really? Ask her.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like that was the name, and
Yeah.
That's,
it's
yeah,
unique
that's
enough that I feel like I wouldn't remember that wrong.
Puffy. I think it's FFY, isn't
No,
it?
no, no, no. It's
Puppy.
Cuppy. It's Stephen Dix. I think his real name is Stephen.
He's Cuffy. Whatever.
I
PP.
thought it was
Yes,
Cuppy,
PP. You're right.
Ah, I'm sorry. Okay.
but he
And
does look at the structural uh, stuff that building can withstand. And Rebecca's house is old too. Nice brick
he's
house. So
he's done work at the Historical Society.
yeah.
Good.
And were you satisfied with his work?
His, his blueprints were perfect. Were spot
Ooh.
on.
Yeah.
So he does have a feel for the historical nature of the projects.
Okay.
Can we reach out to him?
He's not always easy to find.
Mhm.
You go to his house.
That's the problem.
Well, you see him walking up and down the street, so
It's
Just
one of
because he
those
knows that
things.
when we find him, we're going to ask him for plans.
Yeah. Does he have a bunch of papers rolled up under his arm?
I don't know. I haven't seen him that way. But
Just kidding.
So
Well, I think that's a great discussion to have, and maybe do some reaching out by people on the board.
Let me poke Rebecca first to see if she has a direct line of access to him because I
Yeah,
think that
that
they
would be
know each
good.
other and like beyond just, being contractors.
Exactly, that's what you want to do. I live with a retired contractor. You know how it works. Um, okay, so um, Under basement, you said Jeff Garnier will have the basement room working and wired and lighted by the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. That sounds good.
Got about 30 days.
Yep. I was gonna say, under other, he's
He's
going
also going to put a light in the attic for us so we can stop using a flashlight up there, and replace our back parking lot floodlight because for some reason it just became half as bright all of a sudden. Um,
Mm,
and everybody complained.
where are we? All right.
And Jan Sudika like ninja'd in and repaired the front steps on well the day before the book sale on the Friday last Friday. So when I have the chance, I'll spread sealant on them and see if that gets us more than 3 years before we have to fix them again.
That's nice.
Oh, Dustin, you're the best.
I'll make Marco do it.
There you go.
I won't
Okay.
see him.
I'm just
I have
picturing that.
nothing to report on capital campaign because I haven't reconciled interest with town hall yet this month. I think like the last month before the end of the fiscal year, they kind of wait and just do both months at the same time so they can figure out what the profit loss unrealized gains are. I don't know what those words mean, but they always cause me problems this time of year. Um, but I'll have
It's
those
what you could
reconciled before next month.
possibly be making more.
Yeah, every year our Bartholomew statements have net earnings and net profits, and I always just record which number is lower so that in the end of the year, whenever we go to reconcile, there won't be any mean surprises.
That's it. Well, everything okay?
Yep.
All right. All right. So looking at other grants.
$2,500 from Dollar General. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm
That's
kind
a
of
given, I
optimistic we'll
think.
get it. I'm kind of
Yeah,
optimistic we'll get it, especially
that's a
since we matched
given.
it. Rebecca's poking a $500 archival grant, which would help us digitize the Coppola collection. The last big grant we got from Mass Humanities was for processing it and cataloging it, and now there's an opportunity to digitize it. The CMRPC, the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission, is still poking around and trying to find micro grants for us that we might be eligible for. Specifically trying to find a structural engineer to evaluate our building and get handicap accessibility for as cheaply as possible. They know that's what we want. And the bad news is that we are not eligible for any of the Massachusetts Office of Disability grants because they are only taking projects and funding them right now that are in your town's self-assessment document thing, and ours
Yeah.
is out of date. We cannot, as a town, make a new one until we have a committee that can make it. The problem is, state law requires that everybody on this committee, besides one member, have a disability of some sort. And if you approach somebody and ask them to be on a disability committee because they have a disability, they don't usually get excited about it. This is something I've ran into. It's something Matt has ran into, and trying to find people to populate a committee like this is just
What
not
about the
panning out right
what
now.
about the
Justin,
senior center?
Yeah.
Patrice has tried. Patrice has reached out, but I mean, there's just not enough interest to form a committee.
Justin, I'll private message you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll text you or something. All right.
So that's
I don't want to be on it, but type 1 diabetics like me are have a
Absolutely.
disability and they could be on that
so that's separate of the master plan, right, Justin? It's nothing to do with that. It's just more like it's a
It's
whole
an entirely
town.
different shebang. It's like either an ADA committee or an accessibility committee. I'm not sure which one it's called.
Okay, and it's for multiple buildings in town.
Mm-hmm. But I know I think Shirley Mazinski has been, like really, really trying to get, this to happen for a long time because,
Yeah.
it's come up multiple times that
Yeah.
we're losing out on grant opportunities because we don't have an accessibility plan, but we can't make one without this committee.
I wonder how many people, do you know how many people you'd need?
I think it's 6,
Six plus, and one could be
and
able-bodied.
one can be able-bodied.
So we need five people who have a disability, which seems doable in a town of 8,000, but like you said, it's an awkward ask.
It is a very awkward ask.
Does it
Mhm.
have to be a disability that, like mobility issue?
No,
I don't know.
no, it doesn't. I
Probably
mean, because
not.
I know that I'm would be able to serve on a committee like that, but I'm I'm committed out. So
Yeah.
I have a handicap placard.
Here, this is what we need: a commission on disability. That's research for another time.
All right.
in when I was in Sturbridge, uh, they had a radical group of disabled people that would caused the library to become handicapped accessible, and and they were very effective. So if you could recruit um, uh, some disabled people that would like to, um, and we did have somebody in town, but he was only here for about 3 months, I think. But
Yeah.
he was advocating for um, uh, accessibility. But they're very effective if you
Mhm.
can
Okay,
get a group like
so if
that.
we have, so I'm gonna move this discussion, moving it forward. So anyone who uh could serve on this, I encourage to look into it.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to friends.
Oh,
Ellie, I have to start by apologizing to you because I was remiss this year because of my hip replacement surgery and other medical issues I'm going through right now. I'm way behind on my gardening and I wasn't able to contribute anything to your plant sale. So I'm sorry.
well, that's a good part of this report is that the book and plant sale that we've been having in Memorial Day weekend for the last several years has been a great success, and the plant sale especially, and Chris Stevens is she's the one that's sort of the force behind it all, and she does a fantastic job. But and the plants bring in more money than the books do. But we got from last Saturday we had a grand total of, and also Justin, I don't know if you got to read my email to you with this information.
Well,
But I took all the change because I the friends have an account with Unibank, so I can use their change counting thing, which I think one Canadian nickel got rejected or something like that. So it's 5 cents less than it should have been. But so I took all that money and as well as the dollar bills and use that for part of the book sale and everything. So our total for the book sale was $1,153.83.
Oh,
Nice.
that's
And
amazing.
so that was nice. So then I wrote a check to for and put it on Justin's desk. Um, that was for $1,198.83, and that's because I had $33 as that I had donated, or I didn't personally, but that had been donated to the Friends, and Blackbaud, who for some reason gives us $4 checks every month, it seems. But the total that I had gotten from them so far this year was $12. So that's what makes up the book sale, plant sale money, the donations, and the blackboard. So that is on Justin's desk, awaiting for him to bring it up um, to the town hall, to Jean, to put into the interest bearing account. So that's
So
nice.
it's
Yay.
not turned over yet, and it's not official, but we've broken 270,000.
Ooh,
Are
Hey.
you kidding me?
nice.
With the
Yeah,
capital campaign. Yep, this will push us over.
Cool.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yay.
So that's the nice port.
And
I
apropos of nothing, I don't know if you can see, but I snagged 17 lilac cuttings from in front of the library
Ooh.
and have transplanted them in front of my house. So if these take off, we'll have library lilacs growing
Wow.
on the central turnpike. And whenever we need to do the front brickwork, which is going to inevitably destroy all those beds, we may be able to transplant them back.
Oh, cool.
Well, Gail Bowen had soaked or did something with them, so they started to root from the library lilacs, and those were there at the plant sale, and they sold out of the lilacs. That was very, very popular, so that was good. I want one of those dark purple ones, and that's not what is in front of the library.
Mm. I don't care what they look like. They're library lilacs. I want them.
I like it. Okay. Membership.
Um, Everyone might already know this because I sent it out in a blog post and a newsletter. But the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners is going to step in and fund the things that we care about. The statewide ebook sharing platform and the Commonwealth catalog won't be going away. I don't know what they're going to cut to make that possible yet. They haven't announced it yet, but literally anything else is better than those two things. And that's a huge
I know.
relief
Yeah.
to us. Databases aren't going to fare so well, but nobody in Douglas uses the databases. So, I mean, we're going to lose all of these, retain access to these. We'll lose Heritage Quest, which Rebecca is probably going to try to look to replace with her archive money because she uses that a lot for like genealogical research for patrons whenever they call.
Mm.
But other than that, I just honestly don't think we'll miss these.
Yeah. All right. As long as that works, keep our fingers crossed. All right. So can we move on to other old business?
So,
Hearing none. What?
just one quick thing, Justin, if pe I'm sure you know this, but if people have trouble getting like the Boston Globe archive, they could get you could recommend that they get a Boston Public Library card where
Yeah, the
there's
BPLE card can get you access to some stuff, but again, we don't know what they're going to continue to have
yeah,
because
yeah.
they haven't announced what they're cutting because some of their stuff is directly federally funded,
Mm.
um, as
Okay.
opposed to because they're like this Commonwealth Library or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but one thing that you still can do is use the Iliad system, which if there's an article you need, you just email me and then I can. As long as we have a citation, a page number, and know what publication it came from, Boston will send us scans.
Okay.
What was that called?
Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly, it used to be called Iliad, like ILLIAD. Um, I don't know what honestly it's called now. Circulation, Boston articles. That's how I have it bookmarked. Yeah, they still call it Iliad.
Oh, okay.
But they won't do it directly for patrons. It has to be requested by another library staff.
So it's ILL, interlibrary loan, but what's IAD stand for?
It's just a play on words to be like the Iliad and the
Iliad
Odyssey.
and the
Yeah,
Odyssey.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's ILL something or
Hmm.
other.
Yeah, ILLIAD. It's that.
Well,
Okay, can we
that's
move
good to
on?
know.
Can we move on?
Mhm.
All right, groundskeeping staff hours. You said you
Marco and
wanted to take,
Gail wanted to do some things to the library, and the things they were talking about, I thought that it would take them like hours every week to do. But they really only want like 1 or 2 hours a month. So I'm not sure this is a conversation worth having. Um,
I,
but they just
I,
want to like clean up the weed beds. They want to like maintain the planters out front so that there's fresh stuff in there. And just, here and there, there's things that annoy them that they want to fix.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That would
I
be
have no
nice.
problem.
Cool.
If it became more than 1 or 2 hours a month, I would want to bring it back to a meeting and, discuss it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it's better than them sitting there drinking a coffee or sitting outside, or if they've got the time and uh, you know, they're willing to use their talents. You're talking about using your time and your talents in life.
Marco's a
Mm.
professional florist. He has a flower shop.
Oh, he
Really?
does.
Mhm.
Where is his
Yeah,
flower shop?
I don't know that it's like a storefront, but he goes to like lots of farmers markets and things. And I think you can, if I think if you Google Marco Carniero flowers, you'll find it. It's I don't know where it is.
I think that's great. Yeah, we'll just say that's part of your job description, but not written in.
Other duties is assigned.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
More
library comes
There it
first.
is.
chosen.
All right, so I want to move in under EF, um, EFUS. I think that's how you pronounce that. The movie. What's
Right.
happening with that?
This is Don's rodeo.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with this, but this was a movie filmed at Soldiers Field a couple years ago, and it's out now, or will be out on Blu-ray DVD at the end of June. So someone else other than me had the great idea to do a little showing of it at Soldiers Field, like a nighttime movie, family night kind of thing. And I was talking to Justin about and Rebecca about like funding it and how Unibank works, and we thought it might be a nice community thing for the library to at least partially put on, and maybe we could reach out to Unibank for some of the rest. So I got a response from, oh, and it's not rated, but it's very much a family movie. So it's like, if you don't know what the idea of it is, that there's this ball field that they're gonna
It's about the
rid of.
baseball team.
Say
It's
again.
a baseball movie.
It's a baseball movie. Yes, they're going to get rid of the field, so they're having these kind of old timers have a last game there. I haven't seen the movie, and so I reached out to the people, the director and the people who distribute it. And well, one thing, the costs that are involved was like 250 to have a public showing. But they were also talking about maybe making it a bigger event where the people involved in making the movie would come out and do like even an exhibition game at the field, and just could be like a really fun family event sometime in the summer. So there does need to be some kind of like projector, sound system, screen, but there's a couple companies that I found online and reached out to, so it's about 800 for the rental, like a whole rental setup that they would come and do, and then 250 for um the rights to show the movie and there could maybe be some offset from doing a concession at the concession stand that's there. So I guess the question is if we if we think it's a good idea, and is that something we want to fund through like community events with the library in at the same time, um, making the bid to Unibank for at least part of that. So it's like 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000, something like that.
To rent the stuff.
Well, 800 to rent it roughly.
Oh, all put together. Okay.
Yeah, and then 250 for the rights to the movie. And then I'm not sure we'd probably have to talk to the selectman or Matt or someone just to make sure if we need
Probably have to get
the
permits. You have to go, whatever.
yeah, that's the part I'm just like the conduit kind of. I'm just like, what a great idea. Let's make this happen. But I have more questions than answers, maybe.
think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
I
sounds
agree.
really
I
fun.
think that's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as, and I was very excited that the people who did the movie were really excited about, they're not from here, so coming here. So that was part of it, like not
Yeah.
knowing the date, if they were gonna come down and when, because that's maybe something for cultural, but we're way past the cutoff date for anything this summer
Mm.
for funding it. So,
I, I think it may be playing at the Elm Draft House
Yeah.
yeah,
in Millbury.
yeah, it
Yeah,
may.
they've been, yeah, yeah.
Which
But
Either
is
this
it
would
was
be,
free.
or is going to be one or the other weekend. I think it was playing there.
Yeah, that
Yep.
would make sense for them to do.
I
Um,
think that's a great, great idea. I had an idea, um, just went right out of my head about what are the chances? Um,
yeah, I was wondering
yeah.
if is there the equipment that you would have to rent, is there any library source for that sort of
Oh,
thing,
and then
from like the region or from the MBLC? Do they have stuff like that that they lend, or
They
before you
don't.
answer, Justin, I meant to say that we did check with the cable commission in town to see if they had anything, but basically no, there was nothing with cable. I'm sorry, Justin, were you answering?
No, I was just the answer is no, they don't. We used to have consortial collections of things that libraries kind of shared with each other, like Ellison letterpress, die cuts, and things like that. And that's kind of all gone away.
Yeah.
Did
uh,
Um,
anyone talk to cultural council? Because sometimes
that's what I was thinking.
they have money.
Cultural Council has money
Yeah.
that needs to be spent. They've got money I don't understand. I don't want to get too political about uh, committees in town or councils on town,
mhm.
but I know they have money that they're supposed to be spending, and that would be something that maybe we could, or however we would want to do that, approach them about partially funding this.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's part of honestly like the confusion about where to go from here because it could be, there's like a baseball group, there's the
And then the other thing, Dawn, though, is you have to tie these people down to a date,
yes,
and
agreed.
you have to tie down
weather?
the people who are going to do the actual production of it down to a date
Right, because all
and
I've done is
coordinate that.
I guessed on a date and asked for a price and got it, and then I didn't even check with the second one, honestly, not knowing a lot of the information. So, yeah, so I can do some of this background stuff, try to get a date, tell them we're interested, try to get a date. talk to the cultural council, but I also feel like I'm open to advice. Like I would love to get a bid into Unibank, and I would love to get either the selectmen or the um I'm sorry, the name is escaping me. The group who kind of takes care of all the community events, the in the ball field.
Recreation.
Oh, the
Recreation committee?
recreation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Didn't we get a grant from Unibank already that you didn't decide what you were going to use it for? I mean,
Yeah,
could it
we
be
No,
used
we
for
used
something
it.
like?
we used it to shore up the donations account and get it back in the green because it was running red for a while because we had more reservations than funds.
Hmm.
We also have the like the $500 a month that y'all approved for programming expenses.
Mm,
Um,
that's right.
and we've got grant money. I guess the question is who's leading this? Who's going to be like the primary organization responsible
Unknown.
for it? Because is
Yeah.
it the historical society, the historical commission? Like, where did
I'm
the idea come
thinking,
from
how
initially?
about the library being the sponsor of it? I think that Dawn has brought it up. I think what an opportunity to jump on this and help.
Yeah,
That would be
I
awesome, but
agree.
I will need a lot of help because it'll be biting off more than we can chew in the middle of the summer reading program season.
Hmm.
And we're going to be
That
gearing
ends
up
in
for the
August, so
museum on Main Street.
Oh
But yeah, weren't
yeah.
you wanting to do this in July?
Are you, well, I don't know. This summer was the thought. So to
Just this summer?
Danielle's point, we need to get in touch with the people who are distributing the movie and the director and say, we want to do this when,
Right.
or we're
Well,
90% sure we want to do this. What date are you
Mhm.
looking at? Because we're here.
I
But if
when does the
we,
summer reading program end? Isn't it early in August?
What about the Boy Scouts helping out?
Ooh, Boy Scouts. I'm just trying to think of all the
Boy,
people.
I know, like that's the hardest part, right? Like everybody kind of being a part of it or like pitching in a little bit. It could even be like, I don't know, you could even like sell ticket. Not that we want to make it a cost thing, but if,
no,
if there was a
Mhm.
concern about the cost, like I could see so many people being interested in it. Um, but is it like a joint email that we reach out to the various possible entities? Cultural, Justin, I think we want to put on there. Cultural Council.
yeah,
Or is that
that's the
CC?
CC.
Ah,
Oh,
I
oh.
think we need to
Well, I don't know
back
my
up.
acronyms.
Okay. Can we back up for a minute? That the first thing is the date. We need to get a commitment for a date, and you should be able, Dawn, you should be able to get a response from people without having to put down any money and say,
Yeah.
these are the dates we're looking at.
Yep.
What works for you, tell us, and then the first thing is to coordinate who's going to provide whatever we need, and then who's going to be, who's going to come from the movie itself.
Right.
Get those two together. I think that's the most important thing. And if you can come up with that, and then between now, here it is, the end of May,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, I agree. It's
get
fast.
back to us, get back to the council, although we can't vote without a regular meeting. We can't discuss anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where do we stand? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I need to come back to you with more information and then we need to move forward. But the next time we could move forward is the end of June.
Right.
Might be tight. So,
Mm.
um, I thought we had an
How about this, Don? How about if you get in touch with the people you've already been in touch with as far as confirming the movie people to come and finding someone who will do the work that we need to have done, production, whatever, we'll
Yeah,
call it the production,
yeah.
and
Set
get a
up and take down.
coordinate that. And then
A
where do
big
we
setup and
put
take
it?
down because these rigs are huge.
Mm.
And where would it be? At the ball field
At the
itself? That would
ball
be
field,
perfect.
yeah, we just have to, they'd have to, probably the
Mhm.
company would decide which direction we're going to show it from. But yeah,
Right.
field.
Yeah, I would want cable's involvement because I know that they know that kind of
Oh,
thing.
that would be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, cable knows about it, but they're here to help, but they didn't really
Mhm.
have any equipment or anything. Um,
They
all right.
may want to videotape the event in general.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true if it's allowed. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
or at least get some like shots
well,
and things. So
sometimes
even if they
Yeah.
can't film it, it would make a cool montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would.
That where the blinky blinky is on your list, videoing it.
Let's use a
So
fancy
okay.
word.
I can do that, immediately to get in touch with the people from the movie and book a, well, I'd have to get the date first and then book the company. But then what? Like, I don't know if we want to vote. I don't know what makes sense. Do we vote on it now? Like we want to continue with this based, pending no more than X number of dollars on the library's part spent, and then the other part, as far as hands on deck to help out with it, I'm definitely happy to lead.
Well, I think the first, all right. So this would involve a couple of votes because first of all, the trustees would have to approve um spending money for this. Or we'd have to, I don't know, how would it work?
Well,
At
can you
least
think
spend,
of, can we, when's our next meeting? Next meeting is June 24th. So could we
can
vote
we,
on it then?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody's pretty interested in it. I guess the question is how much skin would we be willing to put in the money game?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what everyone's going to ask immediately. It's like, is the library going to sponsor the license, or are they going to do like 200, 400 contribution? Like, what are we looking for from the Cultural Council and any other organizations we approach for help funding?
Hmm.
Well, there's also the LIG, MEG stuff that you won't let me spend. So
Not for
this would
that.
be a nice thing to
I want
be.
to know who's the committee that's going to get all this insurance information, licensing information, run the thing, be in contact with the projector, be in contact with the recreation, be in contact with the food. Where's that committee? I don't think it
Fontaine.
should.
Should we have a
Dawn!
subcommittee?
Yeah, we could
Yeah,
do a
but I don't
subcommittee.
think the library staff should have to do it. They've got enough
No,
to do
no,
at
no,
the
no.
library.
Oh, not
This
this
should
fall.
be an entirely separate group of people that want to do this.
yes, I agree,
Yes,
Betty.
I agree.
Yeah.
Subcommittee word. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh no, I don't like that word.
I know. Then you have all the rules again.
I mean, I definitely think that there's like a lot of entities who would be eager to be a part of it. I just that's why I was sort of thinking starting with
Me
once
too.
we talk to the well, once we had this conversation, like maybe it's going to the selectmen and letting them, I don't know. They don't have a budget though, right? So they can't really
They're
assign it.
all paid a lot of money. They could all chip in from their salaries as
No,
selected
that's
too.
not what their money is for.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess, are we saying
I love it.
that putting up the cash would be beneficial to us to say that we're sponsoring it? Plus, we'd have to do a lot of the work.
Well, it
Or
looks
would,
it
or would-
looks like she had suggested to see if the cultural council had anything they could contribute,
Yeah.
and then also the Unibank.
but I guess what
Yes,
I'm
the
asking
Cultural
is,
Council
do we
doesn't
want
have
to
a
take the lead
deadline.
on it? do we want the library to take the lead on it? So we sort of have
Yeah.
the,
I want the library to take the lead on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
agree
want a
with
separate
Ally.
committee to do it.
Well, what if
You
we
want to
Oh,
created
well,
separate?
yeah,
a
no, I mean,
No, I
the
agree with
trustees could take it
Ally,
on.
but I agree with Betty as far as a somebody who would do it. Exactly.
From us, from our library trustees group, or from other groups?
Uh,
yeah, how did we do our subcommittee before where we had a couple of us from the library and a couple from,
But if you pull
Yes.
from these other entities here, the see if anybody from the cable, from recreation, from the Boy Scouts, um, maybe there'd be enough people to join into a committee to spearhead this.
I have a feeling you would get enough, but I don't know if we're doing this within like 2, 3 months. That's, I feel
right?
it's gonna slow things down.
I mean,
True.
ultimately, it's just showing a movie.
Yeah,
We've got to pick the date. We got to pay for it. We got to put the stuff up. That'll take labor. But I mean,
get it
one
on
and we
website.
have to get like the field as facilities. I don't know who is in charge of that, but like reserving the
Recreation,
field, making sure that
recreation.
we have insurance and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it's just going to be the event itself, which is going to be the hard, like I think, set up and take down because there'll be chairs for hundreds of people. You'll have the big setup and all that stuff.
bring your
Is
own
there?
chairs.
Is there?
Yeah.
Manageable.
There's no chairs, there's
No
no
chairs.
benches,
Bring
no
your own
benches over there.
No.
chairs.
What about the company that sets this up? You're paying $800 for what?
The $800 for a blow up screen, a sound system, a projector, people to come down from Boston or wherever they are.
Oh, so they bring people to set up and take down,
They wouldn't set up chair. They're not offering chairs,
but
but
they'll
they would
set up
set up the
the
screen.
projector and the sound and the
Yep.
screen.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, well
If
that's
you've ever been
90%
to
of
the
it.
Hat Chill in Boston on off dates, you just put down a picnic
Yeah,
blanket.
that's
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you bring your lawn chair if you need it, or you
Yeah,
bring your blanket if
that's
Yes,
it.
let
it's
people bring their own seats.
Yeah.
See,
That's a good
I've been
idea.
scared of the equipment because I thought that we were just renting the equipment and we would have to do all the setup and takedown of it. But if they're
no.
doing all that, that alleviates a lot of my worry.
Okay, yeah, they would set it. The price I got was for them to set it up.
That's not bad.
All right, Don, how about if we leave it at this because we're running late?
Yeah.
I gotta be done by 8 o'clock. Um, how about if we have you do your contacts with the movie company and uh, who you've looked at for doing the production and get back to the commit our
The
Board.
library.
library
Hmm.
and just to give us information. We can't discuss it, but we can have, I don't know, how would that work? We can't really discuss it.
I thought we had an
Can,
alternative thing that we could
can
do.
you just report it back to Justin
Yeah.
and then Justin can, we're going to put it on Justin's head. So,
Need something on it.
I know, you look cold.
Um, yeah, I will do that. And then I guess
Because it's the end of May. We got 3 months,
right.
3 good months of weather, hopefully.
And really you do have September.
We do.
It'd be a
And
Labor
what if
Day
the Red
event.
Sox were in it?
A Labor Day event.
Labor Day.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, it's another idea. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I'm just thinking about like alerting the authorities, meaning the recreation committee and selectmen and baseball people and all those kind of people. Like, is that just an email that we tell them that we're
I think
setting
so. I think it's just a mass email, an
okay.
invitation to participate. Say this is the
Send
idea.
those.
This is what we want to do. Are you interested in helping?
All
Right.
right, perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
But I
Okay.
mean, ball
I
field,
say step
movie.
one is to get a date
Yep.
or a couple of
Date,
dates.
book. It might take a little, I'll see how quickly I can get a date firmly, and then everything flows from there because then I could book the company for sure once I know the date. When you put it in, they're like, which date? And I'm like, I don't know.
Exactly. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
Right.
So,
All
okay.
right. So take one step at a time, one baby step.
Sounds
Right.
good.
All right. Moving forward. Other new business? Hearing none. Next meeting is June 24th, 6:30.
Mhm.
I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So
Oh, so
moved.
move.
Second.
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 All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye.